I was raised in a traditional Latter-day Saint family in Salt Lake City, Utah during the 80s and 90s. In my house, the LDS Church was the pinnacle of spiritual and moral achievement, and I did not need to look further than the direction given by the church leaders. I was told that I only had to keep the church's commandments, endure to the end, and I'd be saved in the celestial kingdom. Although I was curious in my teens, Mormonism was invisible to me, and questioning it never crossed my mind. One night, my friend introduced me to alternative LDS concepts I had never heard. First, that God was both male and female, co-equal. I knew about our Mother in Heaven, but she was always an afterthought, if mentioned at all. Second, that there had been significant changes in the LDS version of the Book of Mormon. And third, that the temple ceremony had been changed. These were radical and sacrilegious ideas to me at the time. I became very agitated, but I knew what he said was true. My friend saw my agitation and said, "Tell me what you're feeling." I told him I knew, by the Spirit, that what he said was true. He nearly broke down and said he had recently started a serious study of the Book of Mormon and wanted me to join him on his new spiritual path. This was his final attempt to see if I was willing to explore ideas which could result in the excommunication from the LDS Church. I was willing to follow the truth anywhere. For the first time, I read the Book of Mormon and learned of its promises for myself. With a lot of prayer and fasting, I applied its teachings literally and received the promise made in Alma 32:27. But behold, if you will awake and arouse your faculties, even to an experiment upon my words, and exercise a particle of faith, yea, even if you can no more than desire to believe, let this desire work in you, even until you believe in a manner that you can give place for a portion of my words. The seed Alma talks about, the mere desire to believe, grew in my heart, which swelled with understanding. The next several years involved intense study, prayer, and discussions of Mormonism with other seeking people. I saw visions, revelations, and dreams, and went on a heady spiritual journey where the mysteries of God and creation were open to me. I had a direct experience of God, my first Gnostic experience. I saw the heavens open to me and received revelation about how and why Heavenly Father's plan was unfolding and my part in it. As you can imagine, that put me in direct opposition to the LDS Church. For a while I held out the possibility that the brethren of the LDS Church knew the mysteries of God, but said nothing because we, the LDS people, were too wicked to understand and follow God's higher laws, as explained in Alma 12:9. It is given unto many to know the mysteries of God. Nevertheless, they are laid under a strict command, that they shall not impart only according to the portion of his word, which he doth grant unto the children of men, according to the heed and diligence which they give unto him. After exploring LDS history and doctrine, it became apparent that the LDS Church was no longer following the important teachings of the Book of Mormon. It was, as Moroni said in Mormon chapter 8, verses 36 through 38. And I know that you walk in the pride of your hearts, and there are none save a few only who do not lift themselves up in the pride of their hearts, unto the wearing of very fine apparel, unto envying, and strifes, and malice, and persecutions, and all manner of iniquities. And your churches, yea, even every one, have become polluted because of the pride of your hearts. For behold, you love money, and your substance, and your fine apparel, and the adorning of your churches, more than you love the poor and the needy, the sick and the afflicted. O you pollutions, you hypocrites, you teachers, who sell yourselves for that which will canker, why have you polluted the holy church of God? Why are you ashamed to take upon you the name of Christ? Why do you not think that greater is the value of endless happiness than that misery which never dies because of the praise of the world? If I was going to learn about God and Mormonism, I'd have to do it without the LDS Church. As part of my search in 1996, when the internet was still very new, I found a group of Mormon Gnostics. I didn't know what Gnostic meant, only that it involved a direct experience of God without intermediaries. For obvious reasons, that struck to the core of my Mormon being and beliefs. Talking to these Gnostic Mormons was a soul-opening experience. I've called myself a Mormon Gnostic ever since, though I didn't quite know what that meant. My early wandering involved looking into the usual suspects of esoteric traditions, such as the Theosophical Society, Kabbalah, the Rosicrucians, Hermeticism, and other generic mystical and New Age teachings. I learned a lot from those early investigations, but, like many Gnostics, I ended up going my own spiritual way and lived a solitary ascetic life. Recently, I saw a video about Gnosticism titled The Negation of the Real by James Lindsay. I've never encountered such a lucid description of the Gnostic experience. Ironically, James is warning the world about Gnosticism and how it must be rooted out as heresy. I got a laugh out of God revealing himself to me through the efforts of an anti-Gnostic, atheist academic. Upon finishing the video, I knew exactly what I was, a Mormon Gnostic. A Gnostic experience implies a practice, not just knowledge. My cosmology is Gnostic, my practice is Mormon. In this channel, I'm going to explore Mormonism and Gnosticism. I'll get things wrong, but it's okay because that's what eternal progression is all about. I'm excited to explore these topics and welcome you to join me.